Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening. It's Way T Lightheart, and we are live from the Digital Republic. I'm so excited to be here. This is literally our first broadcast from the Digital Republic. And so for those who want to know a little bit of backstory as people are jumping on board, I'll give you a little backstory. So for the last, what is it now? Well, I've been in Enagic for 2007, which we've been really excited about. It's been an amazing project. I've been working online from 2004 when I got started in the online business, thanks to Matt Gallant, my business partner in Bioptimizers, another company that I've been running for 15 years. And so I got involved in Enagic since 2009. It's been awesome. I love the company. I love the product. I got involved with the product. However, after a year, the business was so good, I thought I'd start to learn the business. And then 3 or 4 years ago, myself, Seha Top, Kreel Hutchison, we started what's called the Prosperity and Health Alliance, which was one of the reasons people have got these emails. They're on here. That system was created to create basically a step-by-step campaign to build an Enagic business using the traditional ways of direct sell marketing and the traditional ways to do Enagic, which have evolved over 45 years. And it's a great company. It's a great product. The Prosperity and Health Alliance training is free to everyone in Enagic. It has a 12-week course to show the practices, the policies, the actions that will allow you to build a direct sales business. And we're happy to share that. There's over 100 different training videos on there in relation to not just that type of business, but all types of business. And so some of them are directly connected with Enagic and those ideas or policies that will have that. Some of the things are actually just items of business, items of mindset, and those type of things that will allow you to become more successful in your business, in your life, and some things that I've learned over the last 20 years, learning in business, basically learning the ropes. And, my goal here is twofold, is to help people, transform their lives, take action in their life, develop some systems and some processes to morally and ethically raise up society through helping them with health technology, helping them with business technology, helping them with personal development. Now, you might be wondering, well, why are we calling this the Digital Republic? Well, what's happened is I'm fusing two systems right now in the meantime. So as for those of you who've gotten emails from me from the various teams, by the way, the Prosperity and Health Alliance is open to all Enagic distributors, open to everybody in the world, by the way. The Digital Republic, which is a recent launch, was a project that started originally, my idea, my vision for it started in 2000, or actually about 5 years ago, 2013. I was on a trip to Bali. I wanted to write I was basically living this lifestyle people call the wealthy backpacker. I kind of put that Walmart on myself. And the reason why was I've been traveling the world for the last 15 years, making money from my laptop, and having teams around the world, having business systems around the world, having partners around the world. I was able to do physical products. I was able to do education products and all these sort of things. And I learned a lot along the way. None of this stuff is something that I was naturally gifted at or that I had abilities. I had no background in business, no technology. So I had to learn a lot of different things, and I made a lot of mistakes in those areas. But I had this idea by sitting in this co-working space, place called the Ubud in Ubud. And if you ever go to Bali, Indonesia, I would highly recommend checking out. Great facility. And basically there was literally hundreds of people from around the world who came from all walks of life, all different ages, that were building businesses online. And that means they weren't limited by a location. They weren't limited by their age, their sex, their race. They weren't by their education background. There was really no limits. And I realized that for maybe the first time in history, we as humans are living in this incredible place that we're able to interact with people around the world. We're able to add value to people around the world, and we're able to make money in this crazy, crazy universe called the digital universe. In fact, last night, and I'm kind of jumping around here, but I'm so excited, and I got to clarify a lot of things. There's an uproar going on in Enagic right now. There's an uproar going on online. What's Wade doing? What's the after? How's this working? Can I get a part of it? And all this sort of stuff. And we'll get to those questions in a moment. But my whole point, my whole mission here is to help you have a better way of living and able to reach your dreams. And the Digital Republic is a concept that I came up with. And that is a lifestyle, a country, a way of living, a new paradigm that is emerging online where you're not limited by local environments, local nationalities, local currencies, or local things. Now, that just happens to pair very well with Enagic, because Enagic is a company that's built a global distribution base for 45 years. They put the piece by piece in place, like, you know, the shipping, the manufacturing, the distribution networks. They've gone through the nationalities and the borders and all of these issues that are so complex to build $1 billion brand that's transformed lives around. That's why I'm associated with that, and that's why I love it. So the Digital Republic, and live at the Digital Republic, which we're talking about right now, is me sharing with you some unfiltered information that can help you become more successful. And what do I mean by unfiltered? What I mean is I'm going to share with you some of the raw and real components that it takes to build a successful business, both from a structural standpoint, but also from a personal development standpoint. I'm going to talk about a lot of things here. Basically, I'm going to talk about pretty much anything I want, and I encourage you to do the same thing on your platforms. But the mission and the goal is to help us navigate this new world economy, navigate what's happening in the world today. This is radical times. I'm sitting here in my penthouse here in Vancouver. I'm looking down Davie Street. I'm looking down Granville Street. I'm looking at these beautiful mountains and oceans, and I'm thinking to myself, look at all these people going back and forth, traveling up and down, commuting and stuff, following the old way of doing things. Last night, I watched The Matrix with a friend of mine. Matrix came out in 1999. Remember that? Red pill, blue pill, right? Now, at that time, Amazon was just getting started. There was no Facebook. There was no YouTube. There was no Netflix. There was no iPhones. None of that stuff existed. Those companies are now driving the entire stock market. Facebook, Apple, Netflix, Google. Think about that. Those were new companies back then, just getting started. Now they are literally dominating the way of life. Business online. More sales happened online last year in the United States than happened in the entire physical retail market. That's why commercial spaces are going out of business, okay? The traditional ways of doing things. I forget what the percentage is, but there are, I think it's like 67 million Americans are working either part-time or full-time from home nowadays. Think about that. Amazing, amazing, amazing times. Traditional industries, traditional ways, manufacturing, tertiary businesses, construct, all these sort of things, they're going to be replaced. And I talk about it in my book, The Wealthy Backpacker. Artificial intelligence, robotics, okay? These things in automation are going to remove over half the jobs that are in society right now. They're going to be gone. Truck drivers. If you're in the driving industry, if you're in a taxi, if you're in a truck, if you do something to transport things, that's going to be replaced. If you are in manufacturing of any level, you will be replaced. With the rise of, the platforms that, encrypted platforms with transactions, you will see eventually the legal field will be replaced by mathematical algorithms, okay? Now, I'm not saying that to scare. This is what the top economists, the top futurists are all talking about, that the world is changing. And some people are upset about it. Some people are scared about it, rightfully so. Some people are worried about their own future. And that's a good thing, because you do need to understand the tectonic changes that are happening in the world today. And what's happening in the world is the old way of doing things is not working anymore. And the people who are upset, the people who are protesting, the people that are angry at other people is because they are simply not adapting. They are fearful and they are not adapting to the new world economy. The new world economy is on social media. The new world economy is using the internet. The new world economy is technology based. The new world economy leverages artificial intelligence, leverages automation, leverages mathematical algorithms. Now, do you have to know all that stuff in order to participate? Of course you don't. I'm not a mathematician. I don't know how to program a computer. I have hardly an inkling how any of these things work. Yet, I can say this. I've been part of it since 2004 and have, in partnership with my business partners, have made several businesses that generate millions of dollars online and that empower people and help people around the world because I build a couple of things. Number one, I believe in selling products to people that they need, that they'll love, and that offers more value than the price. Number two, I love creating opportunities for other people to participate in this new world economy. And number three, I love coaching people for this, and that's why I'm doing this platform. That's why I'm here. That's why I started the Digital Republic. That's why I got started in my other companies. And that's never, ever, ever going to change. And I love it. I absolutely love it. So you're sitting there going, oh my God, what is this new world economy? What is this Digital Republic? What is happening in the old world? I'm not sure if I'm going to make it. How do I succeed in the new world? Well, I'm going to break that down for you a little bit. And and the final piece before I do, I know it's kind of a long-winded, but you got to realize that right now I'm getting chatter from Facebook, chatter from emails. I'm getting people from Enagic distributors all over the world trying to reach out and get the system. People on my own team want to get onboarded. We're working out like there's a lot of craziness. So I'm fired up. I'm fired up to share. And that's what the Digital Republic is all about. The Digital Republic for me is for me to really unload in an environment that is not policed, managed, dictated, run by, or dealing with any drama, any politics, any organization, any nationality, any company, any specific group identity aspect. It's none of those things, okay? It's just about me being raw and real and sharing with you the things that's made a difference in my life, and maybe it will in yours. Do you have to like it? No. Do you have to do it? No. Do you have to be here? No. So if you don't like it, you don't want to be here, and you don't want to hear it, just leave. And if you do, I'm excited to have you here, and I'm ready to unload it. So let's talk about right now what's happening in the world. We talked about these things. You can read a book called Homo Deus. It's the second book in a series from Homo sapiens, and that is the brief history of the human species and what's happening at this time. You can turn on Joe Rogan and watch Elon Musk when he talks about the rise of artificial intelligence. You can look at any of the futurists out there that are talking about the new world economy, what's happening, how that's working, how that's shaping politics, it's shaping nation states, it's shaping the future of how we do business, how we interact, and how we do wars. But let's be clear about something. None of this matters in the standpoint of if it comes down to brass tacks of what's really important, and that is, how are you going to create the life that you want in the next 2 to 3 years? And more importantly, how are you going to avoid the life you're terrified of in the next 10 to 15 years? Because I will tell you this. The reality is this. If you are not willing to evolve and adapt and move into this new world economy, you will be left behind. The gap between the rich and the poor is going to keep growing. Governments can't legislate this out. It will fail. anything to try and break that. If you think that your government can fix it, you're wrong. If you think that a political party can fix it, you're wrong. If you think that a particular system can fix this, you're wrong. I'll tell you where success starts. Success starts right here with you. Success starts with you and a strong vision. Success comes down to you looking at the landscape, making a choice in a direction, and doing everything that you can in your power to let go of the past and move into a future. Period. That is it. Charles Darwin, the most misquoted person in history, in my opinion, or one of them. Maybe Jordan Peterson would probably take the cake now with his controversial success on the internet, which I don't understand why it's controversial. The guy's just a psychologist providing really good insight. But anyways, that's another story. I'm going to talk about Charles Darwin. And most people said it's survival of the fittest. Survival of the fittest. You've probably heard that the theory of evolutionary biology and the survival of the fittest. That's not what Charles Darwin said. It is not the biggest and the strongest that's going to win. That was an 80s, I don't know, cocaine, Hollywood, greed is good, determination that got projected onto the masses. The reality is, if you read Charles Darwin, which I happen to have read that, is he said it's not survival of the fittest, it's survival of the most adaptable. Burn this in your head. Survival of the most adaptable. Humans are dominating the world because we are the most adaptable species, and we're the most adaptable species not because we're stronger, not because we have better fangs, not because we're the smartest. Dolphins are probably smarter than us, but it's because we do something that no other group on the planet of species can do, maybe with the exception of, say, ants or that sort of stuff, but we are able to work in groups, in large groups, and organize massive projects, massive positions. Now, that can be good, like building a city, or it could be bad, having a war or a riot or something like that. So the question becomes, are you adaptable and are you ready to emerge in the new world economy? Are you ready to take control of your life? Are you ready to step up? And by the way, I see all these things coming in on the Facebook feed. I'd love to be able to run them all and manage it all, but I can't seem to manage that. So my apologies that I can't get all of these things down, but we're doing the best that we can. All right. So if you're ready to embrace adaptability, then where does that start? Well, that starts with what I really want to talk about today, when that is your vision of the future. Okay. Now, your vision can be cloudy, it can be clear, it can be positive, or it can be negative. Okay. You can put that on a quadrant. You got on a quadrant, you got clear on the left, you got cloudy on the right, you got positive on the left, below the axis, and then you got negative on the other. Now, the bullseye of that is not on one particular area. It's right in the center. Success is the sweet spot, which looks at what you're clear about. It looks at what you're cloudy about. It looks at the positive side of things, and it looks at the negative side of things. And by taking all of those areas into account, you will get into the bullseye. If you are not clear about what you're cloudy about, you're in trouble. If you're only cloudy and not clear, you're in trouble. If you're positive, overtly positive, but not looking at the downside, you're in trouble. And if you are only looking at the downside, or mostly the downside and not the upside, you're in trouble. So the focus of your vision needs to take into account all of these things, put together a plan of action, and start taking action in a directed, efficient format that will allow you to become successful in what you're doing. Are you going to get everything right the first time? Of course you're not. Are you going to produce results? Yes. Are some of those results going to be good? Yes. Are a lot of them going to be bad? Yes. In fact, if you are in business, you are probably going to do more things wrong than you will do right. You just need to do a couple of things right that you can have a successful business. Now, sometimes finding those things is rather difficult. Sometimes finding those things can be challenging. Sometimes finding those things can take time. Sometimes it can be frustrating. But if you are the most adaptable person that you can be, you will not see it as success and failure. You will see, I'm producing results. It's just not the results I want. Thomas Edison, when asked about, well, how did you keep going after 10,000 failures of making the light bulb? He says, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I learned how not to make the light bulb 10,000 different ways. But I got information from each one of those, I'm paraphrasing, in order to produce the incandescent light bulb, which transformed the planet. One invention. So why is the most successful inventor in history, barring Tesla? Of course, we do know that he was another, there's different kind of schools of thought. But the bottom line, why was he successful? Because he didn't interpret failure like most people do. He just saw results and kept testing and had confidence. So the first step is you need to have a vision for your future, and you must be clear about what that is. I want to be a 6A-3 or 6A-5. I want to have $40,000 in income a month. I want to be able to take 4 10-day vacations per year. I would to contribute to my retirement program, like all of these things. The clearer you can be about your vision, the better off. And then you work backwards from the kind of the Uber zone to today's work. Now, I want to be clear about something. Success and happiness are not the same thing. Okay? So just because you've achieved a lot of things in your life, just because you made a lot of money in your life, does not necessarily mean that you're successful. Success is enjoying the journey. Success is being happy and positive and feeling good and building self-confidence along the way as you are moving forward, as you are developing. You will not get, believe me, if you think that you are going to get whatever those things are, the house, the car, the life, the girl or the guy or the bank account, whatever that is, that you think that once you have that, once I get to this level or once I get to this thing, that I'm going to feel good about myself, you're absolutely wrong. In fact, you're going to feel worse about yourself when you get there because it's empty. Take it from someone who has been successful in a variety of different areas. Believe me, it is the journey. It is not the outcome. The outcome are signposts along the way that says, hey, good job, or yes, you got that. And they're points that you would set your navigation point. Like if you didn't have a compass, you say, okay, I'm going to sail to the corner of that island. And when I get there, I'm going to be able to see further, and I'm going to set another tack, and I'm going to go to the next spot and the next spot. So it's not about, hey, I got to get to the other side of the world. Maybe that's where I'm going, but I got to set little signposts. And when I get there, I go, yay, that's little reaffirming components to give us the confidence. So success is an inside job. Now, there's a problem with that. And here's what the problem is. I can guarantee if you're listening to this right now, if you have a computer, you're online, you're probably at least 20 years old. That means the education system that you were given by not just by your family, by the school that you attended, by the social group that you find yourself a part of, by the town or city or village that you live in, and by almost every single person who you have gotten influenced by, will prepare you for a world that doesn't exist anymore. I want you to think about that for a second. All of your training, all of your education, all of your social influences, the environment which you live will prepare you for one thing: to wind up unhappy, to wind up broke, and to wind up disillusioned and not contributing to your best self. End of story. Now, that doesn't mean that all those people were bad. It doesn't mean all those people were evil. It doesn't mean there was some grand conspiracy to screw your life up. And even if there was, even if you had some bad things happen to you in the past, and bad things happen to people, parenting, you got bullied, dark things happen to people. I've coached over 15,000 people personally. I've heard horrible situations. I've also seen triumph in all those cases. So if you want to be successful and you want to get a vision for your life right now, what you need to do is you need to be thankful from your past, but let go of it. That may take a psychologist. It may take a spiritual program. It may take philosophy. And it's not all going to happen at once. You do it step by step, piece by piece, day by day, year by year, that sort of thing. Okay? But it's going to take a concerted effort. Second, what does that mean? Success is an inner game. You got to get your inner game online, whether that's listening to neuro-linguistic programming, listening to psychology. I'll give you an example. So I had been competing in bodybuilding for 10 years. Okay? 10 years I had competed in bodybuilding. Didn't win a contest. Never won anything. I sucked. I had terrible genetics. I had a strong work ethic, but I just wasn't doing the right things. It just took a long time. I just was failing all the time. Couldn't figure it out. So I had lost a major contest and everything went downhill for me back in the day. This was back in 2006. I lost a series of contests. I went broke. Not 2006, 1996. So I've got to go back there. 1996. Went through all these things. It was a horrible situation. I was very depressed. I was in the basement of my parents' house. I was working the job they said I wasn't going to live. I had no money. I was in debt. My relationship was over. I was a loser again. And I was like, I can't figure this out. I've been trying to win, trying to be successful. And I'm reading the books. I'm doing the tapes. And what's going on? And so I wanted to blame the judges. I wanted to blame the government. I wanted to blame my lot in life. And I was pretty angry. I was pretty upset. I was actually almost in tears at the time. And then I realized something. None of that matters. The past doesn't exist. The past, think about it. The past is gone. It doesn't exist. It's a memory. It's a representation of something that happened, but it isn't here. Your future is a representation, either good or bad, but it's not here. So most of people are spending time in the past or in the present. In other words, they're in these illusions. Now, your brain can't tell the difference between what you imagine and real life. And there's power in that. Because regardless of your background in the past, if you reprogram your brain for the future that you want and rehearse this inside your brain with the visualization, with the positive reinforcing self-talk, that you do this on a day-to-day basis, you too can be successful. You too can build, make your vision and dreams come true. Dreams don't come true by themselves. Dreams come true when you go out and make them happen. And when you originally start out to make them happen, oftentimes they don't work out. And the chances are the way that they're going to work out is not the way that you think they are right now. But you've got to take action in that direction. Just like if I'm sailing a boat, I got to go to that corner to see the next corner. Realize, I got to course correct to get around those rocks. I get to those rocks. I go, I got to course correct so I can get out in this channel. There's high winds here. I'm constantly course correcting, and your life is constantly course correcting. And new technology is emerging at the speed of thought. That's the world we live in. But here's what doesn't change. What's inside here? What is the self-talk that you're telling yourself? Is it positive? Is it proactive? Or is it negative? Is it self-defeating? Are you blaming others for your lack of success. And I don't care who it is. The end of the day, you've got to take responsibility for your life and you've got to work on your inner game. And I'm going to share something with you. Virtually every single person I know who is massively successful, and I'm talking massively. What does massively successful mean? They're making millions of dollars. They're happy with their life. They're contributing to society. That's massive success. Very few people get to do that. But the friends and colleagues who I work with and know and participate with all are working on their inner game every day. They are reading books on philosophy and psychology. They are integrating and upgrading the technological aspects to meet the demands of the modern world. They are building efficient schedules for themselves. And they are working on the negative self-talk that got programmed from those groups we talked about in the past. And they are dropping the groups and behaviors that aren't working for them, and they're getting interacted with groups and behaviors of where they want to go, the people they want to hang out with, the people that are uplifting them as opposed to draining them. And you have got to be bone-crushing honest with yourself and your calendar. This little guy right here, your calendar. Most people have it in their phone nowadays. This is where success and failure happens, right here. What are you scheduling in your life? How are you doing priority-ship? And if you want to really get this down, I am going to refer you to a book called Extreme Ownership, How the Navy SEALs Fight and Win by a fellow by the name of Jocko Willink. Jocko, you would not want to fight against this guy. He is a force. And what's very interesting is he talks about a very difficult time in his military career, which he was over in the Middle East. He was fighting battles, and the worst thing possibly happened. Some guys lost their lives on his command, and it was related to friendly fire. The worst thing that can happen. And how he navigated that as a commander-in-chief, how his team did that, and more importantly, the lessons that he learned from the most extremely painful lesson you can imagine. And the thing was extreme ownership, and that is to take 100% responsibility for everything in your life. Taking 100% responsibility for everything in your life. And the second you get outside of that, the second you play the blame game or all these sort of things, then you know that's, you need to make a note, and you need to come back to that, because there's a little unconscious piece of your brain that is taking you out and is killing your success, killing it right in its tracks before it started. So what does it really take to be successful? Well, I can't tell you all of the things that it takes to be successful. I'm only one guy, and I don't know everything. But I can say this. Here's what I've learned, and that's what this podcast, this Monday night, no holds barred, raw and real thing is all about, and that is the things that I have learned. And I have done these things to be a successful athlete, and to be a successful business person, and to be successful in my spiritual pursuits, my philosophical pursuits. And that is, you need to have a vision. We talked about that a second ago, for your future. That vision needs to have both clarity, and it needs to have positivity. It needs to have negativity, and it needs to have cloudiness. In other words, you don't have to know everything to take action, but you need to have enough clarity about where you're going and why you're doing it. You need to be positive that you can do that, but you need to be aware of the downsides and negativity so that you don't, destroy yourself. And that sweet spot is in the middle. It took me a long time to learn that. That's the part of the vision, a realistic vision with accountability built in that you check in. Next thing, you're going to need a daily ritual. Even in the 10 years that I was failing in bodybuilding, I had a daily ritual. Now, here's what happened. that's the first thing, the daily ritual, the habits, the activities, and most of your time is focused on your daily ritual that's moving your business forward, that's moving your goal forward, that's moving towards your vision, whether that's working out, whether that's learning an online program, whether that is reading a book on philosophy or technology or self-development or communication or sales training, whatever it is. You need to make it a ritual that is in relation to your goal, right? Whatever that is. And you usually learn the most effective rituals for somebody who's been there and done that. Second part is the inner game coaching. Going back to that time in 1996 when I was flailing, right? And I wanted to play the blame game with everybody because I was fearful that I wasn't going to make it. I was fearful that someone was going to find out that I sucked. I was scared that I wasn't good enough. Because the reality was at that point, I wasn't. I was all of those things. And I had to get honest with myself. And it just so happened I got an audio cassette. And that audio cassette was by a guy by the name of Dr. Lee Poulos, Poulos. You can look him up online. He's a neuro-linguistic programming guy here in Vancouver, and he's a psychologist. And he made this obscure bodybuilding cassette, which I bought the rights for, by the way. I bought the rights to this because it was a bodybuilding self-hypnosis tape. And it had one side was literally a self-hypnosis, and the other one had subliminal programming. And I listened to this tape every single day. And inside that tape, it was teaching me to go in, and I went through light and was healing my body and my internal organs. I was pumping up my muscles. I was visualizing how I wanted my body to look and all this sort of stuff. And I remember this was 2 weeks after I lost the provincial championships, and I decided right there and then I was going to work the next 50 weeks to get ready for the next year's show. Most guys are getting ready 12 weeks out. 16 weeks is a long time, and the outrageous 20 weeks. I said, I'm going to get ready 50 weeks out. I'm going to put a whole year into this. I'm not just going to train 4 hours a day. I'm going to train my mind just as hard as I'm training my body. Now, I'm telling you this, I'm sharing this with you because you're going to have to do the exact same thing in your business if you want to be successful. Okay? So that's what I did. I worked on my inner game. I went literally that length of time. I went to the contest, went into the show. I'm super confident, won my weight class. It gets to the finals. There's a guy in the next class. He is tough. He's way better than the guy was last year. I'm going up against them. People are like, I don't know. When I walked backstage, I took one look at him and I said, I'm gonna win, because my inner game was so solid. I went out on that stage. I acted like a winner. I posed like a winner. And you know what? I won by one vote. I won by one vote. 10 years of training, 50 weeks of preparing, outwardly, inwardly, everything came down to that one moment when I'm going against a guy probably every bit as good as me. But there was that little tiny edge that allowed me to succeed. That was because of the inner game. It was a breakthrough moment. And you know what I did after that contest? I went to the national championships and I realized, you know what? I'll get destroyed if I go here. And I hired a coach. And that coach took me to the next level. I produced more results in the next 9 months than I did in the 10 years past. Went to the nationals, and the rest is history. Started my career, became a personal trainer, got partnered up in the online business, built a great company, got into Enagic, built another great company, got to travel the world, and that leads us all here to the Digital Republic. Now, there's a third thing that you got to do. First thing was you need a daily ritual. Second thing, inner game coaching. Get Marissa Peer. You can look that up. Marissa Peer is is a lady that's out there. She's got one of the most successful programs on a company called Mind Valley, and it's all about how to work your inner game, how to program your mind for success. Hire a psychologist, hire an NLP practitioner. I got all these coaches to help me not get too influenced by the garbage that's out there. And to continually go in and take a look at the things that I need to improve on, the things on how I can adapt to the world. Because even if I got it figured out today, even if I know how things are working today, even if I can run my Enagic business today and my online business today, some parts of what I know right now are not going to work 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now. Not going to work. So what does that mean? I got to be dying. I got to have parts of myself dying so that I can make the birth of the new. And what does that mean? You need to be upgrading your game, upgrading your system. Now, see, on my other business, my business partner, Matt Gallant, we've known each other for 20 years, and we've been in business for 15, so since 2005. So we've been in business 2004, 14. We've been in business 15 years together. And he is one of the best people I know at upgrading to the new technology. I mean, he upgrades so fast, he doesn't even have time to implement the old stuff, but he's upgraded. So he's been a big influence in helping me upgrade different aspects of my life. I never would have built an online business, never would have had any success in that if I didn't have a guy like that in my corner. I've got another lady, right? Got another lady. Now this lady, I call her the Oracle, and the Oracle gives me insights into she's got gifts. She gives me insights himself. I got another guy called the Wizard, and the Wizard helps me run a thing called the muscle testing stuff. I got another coach, call him the Calibrator. He helps me leverage stuff. I got another technology I use, Dr. Hawkins, Power versus Force and Transcending Levels of Consciousness. These guys help me with the understanding where people are coming in at, okay? These are all technologies of upgrading. I've got a team of people who are good at things I don't know. I have a whole system called Predictive Index that allows me to assess the talents and ability of the people I work with so I can put them in positions that will allow them to be successful. And I know my own limits and weaknesses so that I can get people to fill those in. I can't fix everything in my life. And the beauty of today's world with technology is you don't have to fix everything in yourself, but you do have to know yourself. And in order to know yourself, you need to get outside of yourself, and you need to get some feedback from people around you, from professionals around you, from coaches that are going to help guide you to break apart your inner game that's not serving you and to upgrade your inner game so that you reach your vision of success. Because if you're not where you want to be right now, it's because of your inner game. End of story. Because your inner game will allow you to develop your outer game. The outer game will make you the most adaptable human that you can be. And like Charles Darwin says, it's survival of the most adaptable. You will adapt to the changing environments that are today. These people who adapt quickly to this environment will achieve outstanding success. Outrageous success. Do you know I saw technology? Think about this for a second. People are going on about how things are bad today. It's so tough. Things are so expensive. If you take your phone that you got right here, most everybody's got one of these phones, right? The technology available in this phone, to have similar technology in the 1980s, you would have to spend $900,000 to have that technology in the 80s. You got it in a phone. Think about that for a minute. You got $1 million worth of 1980 tech here in your hand, and you're complaining that I don't have any money. If you live in the Western world and are watching this right now, you are in the top 1 percentile of the world's wealthy people. Now, why I'm saying that is because that means it's a gift. That means that we are stewards. We are stewards of the incredible wealth of opportunities that we have. We're wealthier than any humans in the history of the planet. We live a lifestyle not comprehensible by kings and queens just 100 years ago. You can fly anywhere you want in the world. You can get food from all around the planet. You can communicate with anybody, anywhere, anytime. You run your own broadcasting station from Facebook or YouTube. Okay? You can have everything ordered to your house if you want. You got the best health technology and science in the world. All it takes is what? Money. And how do you get money? You set a vision, right? You create a ritual around that decision. You get some inner game coaching from some experts that can provide you some insights. And you adapt by upgrading to the current format. You'll know yourself and you surround yourself with people who bolster up your weaknesses and that you can add value to them with your strengths. And you create synergy. Knowing your weaknesses is a strength. Not knowing your strengths is a weakness. You can't be all things at all times. But again, why are humans so successful? Because they can organize themselves in large groups that no other species is able to do. And from that, we are the most dominant species on the planet. So where does that leave me? You can tell I'm fired up today. Woo! Woo! For Ric Flair. All right. So how does this come down to you? Well, it comes down to you right now. There's a lot of people that are getting involved in the digital republic right now. People in my organization and other people's organizations, they want to get in. By the way, there's emails coming out. You can get on a wait list. Look, we can't bring everybody onto this right now. Not everybody can get involved right now. I'm hoping that one day we will, but we are going to go through the policies and procedures that Enagic follows. In order to do that, I'm going to honor the relationships with all the wonderful leaders around the planet with their organizations. I love them. I respect them. And I'm not going to create any problems with any of those groups or anything. And we will bring people on as fast as we can. This takes time. Now, if you want to be part of the digital republic system, you're in my organization or whatever, but here's the bottom line. Just because you become part of the system, and I encourage you to do so, and I encourage you to take the next 24 to 36 months and get down to work like you're going to become an MBA in online business technology. You are not going to learn this in a week or a month. You're not going to magically get millions of dollars worth of sales. It's going to take work. It's going to take time. It's going to take effort. It's going to take technology. And it's going to take an inner game, and it's going to take a daily ritual of consistent action. But if you do that, this is the system for you. This system is revolutionary. What does it do? It teaches you, it teaches anybody how to get started in an online system, a sales, marketing, and education system that leverages all of the technology out there, that uses everything that I've learned in the last 15 years from a technological standpoint, that's put on a platform developed by one of the premier web development companies in the world in the direct selling space. A business that's been put together with the top tax agency in the direct sales model, which has been put together with the top legal firm in the entire direct sales business, so that we meet all the requirements, all the responsibilities of FDA, FTC, policies and procedures of Enagic, and the policies and procedures of social media platforms from which we use, all in a streamlined step-by-step education system that is going to take you the next year, 2 years, 3 years to master. And we're going to hold your hand every step of the way. We're going to have opportunity webinars. We're going to have training webinars. They're all in there. And in fact, there's just dozens and dozens and dozens of videos of how to go step by step, everything from how to market online, what not to do, what to do, how to get started, all that process. It's amazing. It took us a lot of time to build this. It took a lot of money to build this. Why did I do this? Why did I do this? I'll tell you why. Because I believe that every person can be successful. I believe I enjoy an incredible lifestyle because I was able to help enough people get what they wanted. There is an incredible group of people in my organization and in Enagic overall who have really helped me. There are some incredible people in my other company who I've mentioned who have really helped me in this format. I never would have got there without other people's help. The reality is this: right now, the fastest growing groups in the direct sales industry are building their businesses online using social media. This isn't me saying this. This is a fact. This is what the direct sellers associations, this is where the top MLM companies are going. This is where the top affiliate marketing companies are going. This is where everybody is going. And there is a specific way to do this right now. And that way will eventually evolve and adapt in a very, very quick format, but you need to get started somewhere now. Putting up a sales page or becoming a health terrorist on your social media account is not it, and sending people a generic form to go fill out or get an education from is not going to do it. That worked maybe 20 years ago. It doesn't work now. You need to be clear. You need to be sophisticated. You need how to target. You need how to get the right information. You need how to spend ads. You know how to convert ads. And then you need to have a system that helps you do that, and you need to grow that exponentially. Now, we've built most of that for you, but at the end of the day, it still comes down to you. Comes down to you. Comes down to you saying, you know what, I've got a vision for my life. I know there's some things I'm clear about. There's some things I'm unclear about. That's okay. I'm taking action. I'm really positive about some things. I know I'm negative about some things. I'm clear about that. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to work on a daily ritual to learn this system. I'm going to work on my inner game every day so that I can be successful inside. Because if you're successful inside, it doesn't matter the timing on the outside stuff. You know it's coming, and it doesn't. And if you're not successful on the inside and you get all the outer success in the world, it's not going to mean anything because you don't have your inner game down. And finally, you're going to upgrade and go with your behavior that's going on, upgrading, because the world is changing at the speed of thought. The World Wide Web, artificial intelligence, robotics, mathematical algorithms are directing your entire life, and you don't know it. They run the traffic in your street. They run the news that's coming in on your feed. They run the political polling in the government. They're selecting the television programs that you're going to watch. Folks, you got to get on board with this. You got to recognize that the old world, the old way of doing things is dead. There's millions of people that are still trying to make it work, and they're going to fail. Charles Darwin pointed this out over 100 years ago. Survival happens for not the fittest, the most adaptable. The question is, are you adaptable? The question is, are you ready to embrace the new world economy? The question is, are you ready to step forth in a new way of doing things to create a new life for you, your family, your loved ones? The question is, are you going to steward the wealth that you have and create even more abundance for you and the people around you and the people in the world? You want to help the world? Raise up your own standards. You want to make a difference in your community? Raise up your own standards. You want to help poor people around the world? Raise up your own standards. Want to help the downtrodden? Become prosperous and share that prosperity with other people. Want to help the environment? Get rich. Want to help people on the other side of the world? Get rich. Want to help your family? Get rich. How do you do that? You get rich. And I'm not talking just about money. I'm talking about leveraging right now on every single day. I'm listening to world-renowned experts in business, in technology, in psychology, in spirituality. This is part of my ritual. I inundate my brain with it every day so that I don't get polluted by CNN and Fox News and what this political campaign. I'm aware of those things because I want to know what's the messaging going out to the public, but I'm also seeing what's behind the messaging and how they're trying to shape people. Don't get sucked into it. Observe, but stay on point. Don't get sucked into those things. Stay focused. Keep your rituals. Get your vision. I'll tell you what. You want to know what success is? You want to know how to get successful? It's just as much about what you don't pay attention to as what you do. Don't get caught up in distractions. Don't get caught up in the dopamine hits on this phone. Buckle down, set aside your time in your schedule, follow the system that we lay out, work on your inner game, keep upgrading, and you will be successful. I'll see you next week. Wait till Lightheart, live from the Digital Republic. This is our first episode. Thank you so much for joining us. If you got questions, email us. We'll be sending messages out. 2 opportunity meetings coming at 6 p.m. Pacific, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Check your emails for listings. That's 6 p.m. Pacific Western, 9 p.m. Eastern. Lots of love to you guys. I'm fired up. This is what the Digital Republic's going to be each and every week. Business, philosophy, personal development, spirituality, the kitchen sink. Everything's coming. And it's because I love you. Take care. Good night.